Today I'm going to explain the movie called Return to the Blue Lagoon from 1991. This is a sequel of The Blue Lagoon from 1980. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care, and I hope you enjoy it. At the beginning of the movie, we saw that Richard's father found Richard in Emmeline's boat. One guy told them that they were sleeping. It could also mean that they were dead. But they had a baby on the ship, and the lady named Sarah took the baby in her arms. Sarah was a widow, and she had a daughter. Her name was Lily. Actually, Richard and Emmeline had died. The captain and the crew of the ship did the funeral in the ocean. Now, some of the people on the ship were infected by a plague. It was the time of 1897, and it was the time when the third wave of the plague had hit them. They were so scared of the plague, and they called it the Black Death. Therefore, the captain and the crew of that ship decided to leave Sarah and her 2 kids in the ocean on a boat, with the hope that some other ship would save them, or she can go to an island, but she cannot stay here since the ship was infected by a plague. At night, they leave her in the ocean with a sailor named Kearney. In the morning, Sarah asked Kearney for some water, but he said no. He told her that we should save water for later. The next morning, the kids were crying of hunger and thirst, but Kearney still didn't give them water. Rather, he was getting mad at the kids and Sarah since they were crying a lot. He told Sarah to keep them quiet, but when the babies kept crying, he was about to throw them in the ocean. But then Sarah hit him with the paddle and killed him. And then she threw his body into the ocean. The next morning, she woke up and saw that there was an island in front of them. She reached the island, and they were so hungry. She made a tent there, and she fed the kids some coconut water. And then she started walking around the beach. And she found pure drinking water near the beach. She also found some fruits to eat. She was happy about it, but then it started raining, and she came back to their tent with the kids. After some time, the rain stopped, and she went to the beach with the kids. The kid was called by the name Richard in this movie. Richard showed her a house. Actually, it was the house of his parents. And this was the island where they lived, and Sarah also came here. Richard ran to the house and looked for his mom, but he couldn't find her. Therefore, Richard starts crying. But Sarah told him that, "I'm your mom." All the things were in the same position as they left. Sarah was living in that house with Richard and Lily. One night, when she was trying to make the kids fall asleep, she heard the sound of a drum. When she went outside to see that, she saw that there were so many people outside. Lily and Richard were growing up on that island, and they were learning new things. Sarah again heard that sound on another night. She found out from a paper in the house that someone comes to this island every 3 months on a full moon night. That's why she immediately fell asleep with the kids. 8 years have passed. Now Richard was 10 years old, and Lily was 8 years old. Both of them would play all day. Now Sarah told them something related to their life. She told them about how a boy grows up and becomes a man, and how a girl grows up and becomes a woman, and how their body will change with time. She told them everything from marriage to giving birth, and she had cleared all the doubts in their mind. One day, Lily and Richard went to catch fish. They tied their boat to a rock, and they were catching fish. But then the rope got untied, and the boat reached the shore. Now they had to get back to the beach, but there was a shark in the water. Sarah was looking for the kids, and it was dark. Richard throws a fish into the water so that they can have time to run away from the shark. And like this, they went to the boat. Sarah was so mad at them because of this, and it was also the night of the full moon. One day, Sarah went outside to fix the house, because the rainwater entered the house, and from then, she got sick. She was thinking that she would not live anymore. That's why she showed them her favorite place to bury her dead body. She told Richard that she was his real mom. She went to her favorite place, and unfortunately, she died there. She had pneumonia. Lily and Richard buried her in her favorite place. And now Lily and Richard were totally alone on the island. Many years have passed, and they became teenagers. One day, Richard challenged Lily for an Easter egg hunt. Easter egg hunting is a game, and in that game, they need to find the hidden eggs. At first, Lily was afraid, so she said no. But then she agreed. Richard told her that whoever finds more eggs will get a prize. Lily asked him what kind of prize. Richard told her that it could be anything. They started the game, and Lily won, and she asked him for the prize. Therefore, Richard jumped into the water and got an oyster. And then he took out the pearl from that oyster and gave it to Lily. Richard and Lily were having strange thoughts about each other. They were feeling attracted towards each other. Lily noticed the changes in her body. Richard also sees her when she's naked. Richard always goes a little far from the beach to catch fish, and he always tricks the shark and gets away from there. That's why Lily was always mad at him. But Richard made fun of her. He told her that she touches her own breasts. Lily denies this, but Richard claims that he has seen her doing this. Lily says she's just observing the changes in her body, and he shouldn't spy on her like that. Richard says, shouldn't he? He's seen her without her clothes since they were kids. Then why shouldn't he be able to see her body now? Lily said she was a kid then, but now she's grown up. She was leaving, but Richard said sorry to her, and they started dancing. While dancing, they got so close to each other, but immediately, Lily pushed him away, and she told him that she thinks now they should not sleep together. Richard said whatever she thinks is best. The next day, when Lily woke up, she found blood in her bed. At first she was scared, but then she remembered the things that Sarah taught her. She realized that this was her first period. She went to a waterfall to clean her clothes. Richard also went after her, and he told her that he found blood in her bed, and asked if she was all right. Lily asked him if he remembered what their mom had taught them. What happens to a girl when she grows up and becomes a woman? Richard understood what happened to her. The next day when Richard was sleeping, Lily came to him and woke him up. Since Richard was sleeping without any clothes on, he covered himself with the bedsheet. But Lily saw his dick and asked him about it. She asks him what's that thing on his body, and she laughs at him and makes fun of him. Then Richard got angry with her and left his room. Lily was so confused, and that's why she came to her mom's grave and talked to her. Richard was also behind her, but Lily told him to go away. Therefore, Richard got mad at her and left. He told her that he was going to the other side of the island. Lily tried to stop him, but he didn't listen to her. He went to the other side of the island and found some human skulls and skeletons. This was the place where the tribal people killed their own people to satisfy their god. Suddenly, he heard the tribal people were coming, and it was about to get dark. To hide himself, Richard put some mud on his body. On the other side, we saw that Lily was waiting for Richard. The tribal people came there and did their rituals. Richard was seeing this from behind a tree, but then one of them saw Richard, and he left the others without saying anything. Richard found blood on that rock. Finally, in the morning, Richard was going back to his home, but then he found Lily. Lily came there looking for him, and she asked him where he was last night. She was scared. She thought she had lost him, and after the incident, they got together once again. They kissed each other, and the next morning, they got married. After getting married, they started their new life. They stayed together all the time, and they were living their married life like this. So many days have passed, and one day, they saw a boat in the ocean. They immediately went to light the wood on fire to give a signal, and saw that they were coming there. There was a girl with them, and they had guns with them as well. Richard and Lily met them and welcomed them. He was Captain Jacob, and the girl was his daughter. Her name was Sylvia. They came here to get some drinking water. They felt so strange after seeing their dresses. Sylvia thought that they were brother and sister, but Lily told her that they were husband and wife. Sylvia was so surprised after hearing this. Lily told them that 6 years ago, their mom died. They don't know for how long they've been on this island. They just count for the full moon nights. At night, Lily and Richard gave them food to eat. Captain Jacob loved their food. Richard asked him to take them in their boat. In the morning, Jacob gave them new clothes and shoes. Meanwhile, Sylvia was falling in love with Richard. Richard took them to the waterfall where there was clean drinking water. They were filling up their cans with water. Richard and Lily were not familiar with these types of clothings. That's why they jumped into the water after taking their clothes off. Now Sylvia wants to kill Lily and marry Richard. One night, Sylvia was dancing with Richard. Lily got so angry after seeing this and left the room. In the morning, we saw that Lily was putting makeup on her face. She wanted to look like Sylvia, so that she can get the attention of Richard. But when Richard saw her, he told her to wash her face. After saying this, he went to catch fish with Sylvia. Sylvia tried to get closer to him. On the other side, Lily was swimming in the waterfall, but one of the guys from the boat was watching her. As soon as she came out of the water, the guy went after her and caught her. While talking to Sylvia, Richard called her by the name of Lily. Sylvia told him not to say her name in front of her. But Richard said he'd had sex with her and he's married to her. He can never cheat on her. Therefore, Sylvia got mad at him and slapped him. That's why Richard left her. On the other side, Quinlan was after Lily. He asked her about the pearl in her hair. After getting the pearl, he was trying to have sex with her. But then Richard came there, and they started fighting. He even shot him with a gun. The other people heard the sound of the gunshot. Quinlan went after him with the gun in his hand. He fired at him many times, but missed all of his shots. While running after Richard, Quinlan fell down, and his head was bleeding. Richard took him to the place where he saw a shark. Quinlan went to that place, and the shark killed him. Richard came back to Lily and asked her about going back with the captain. But Lily said no, and told him that if he wants to go back, he can. She also told him that she was pregnant. That's why they decided to live on the island and wait for the baby to be born. The ship left the island. After some time, Lily gave birth to a girl, and they were so happy with their life. To watch more explanations of these kinds of movies, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, I will say, stay safe, stay well, thanks.